Alright, so today we're going to do something that I was waiting for a lot of time to do already, which is creating our first no-code SaaS product. Basically, what we're going to do, we're going to take no-code tools such as Airtable for the database, Softr for the front end of the database, and make, in order to create the automations and all of these things work as a glue of everything. And just like that, we're going to build a no-code marketplace. So I was talking with this client the other day, and he's working in construction sites all day long. And he have to create a lot of reservations, talking to many different vendors in order to bring a lot of materials to the construction site. And he said to me, hey Yuval, you know what would be cool? If I had this app that I could just really quickly order different tools, devices, construction stuff to construction site, and I want it to come fast, and I want to get like the cheapest one. How can I do that? Like, how can I do something like that? And I thought to myself, and he told me I want to invest a lot of money in order to build this app, because this app is going to make millions. And I was like, hey, you know what do you think about building it using no-code tools? And he told me, what's no-code? You could actually build a working prototype of your app without writing a single line of code. And he told me, hey, Yuval, how can I do that? So I told him, listen, let me just show you how to do it. So today, I'm just going to do a showcase where I show you my process of building this type of product. And I will walk you step by step of how I do it. And without further ado, let's jump right in. Let's start with my Claude. So I will tell it something like, so I told it, hey, I'm building a no-code product using Airtable and Softr. It's a marketplace for construction sites, help them to order in bulk. A lot of typos here, but let them get it, so I don't mind. And I'm telling it I'm using Airtable and what Airtable should have, and the fact that make.com should generate certificates with PDF once the order is done, and so on. And now I tell it to build the UX of it and the user flow. And just like that, it helped me to create the user flow. So right now we're still in code. We're going to see this. This is great. A key feature, registration, browse products, order tracking, PDF, great. Vendor feature, make.com automation. It's great. So what I have here basically is a UX spec or a product spec. And this, at least the start of it. I could tell it generate a document. So generate a document that would be like the full UX stack and the full tech stack of the whole thing. And that could give me like an idea about the technical stack. It's also great for documentation if you want to onboard more people to this project. The scheme of Airtable and what it should include, and that's great. And now I'm going to jump right into Airtable and build a new table. And let's call it construction marketplace. So this is it, and now in front of me, right now I'm looking at another screen that's actually showing me what the database architecture should be like. So I'm actually using AI here in order to build my Airtable architecture. Okay, so let's start with the users, save. Then we're going to build one more table, that will be the vendors. Another table, that would be the product, and let's do another one for orders. Perfect. Now I need to populate it with a little bit of data. So let's start first of all with the users. So I'm looking right now, as I said, on Airtable, and it actually tells me, okay, this is the user table architecture, this is the vendor table architecture, and this is the product table architecture, and so on. So let me just really quickly populate it. Now, while I'm building it, I can actually see that first of all, it takes some time to populate it, but they give me like categories and things that I don't really want. So first of all, I'm creating a multi-select to do the categories. I'll show you in a second how I do it, but before that, I created a formula. I called it the vendor ID, which just populated with the record ID. The reason I do it is because I want that every record is going to have a specific ID. The reason I do it is because when I automate stuff, I don't want things to mix along the way. Why is that? Because here when I use, for example, the auto number, it gives me 1, 2, 3. But if I use auto number again, it will also give me 1, 2, 3. I want to have a specific record for each line. So that's why in order to do it, we'll just create here a formula as well. And I will just write here record ID. And that will show me the actual record ID. And it will be different between every different line. Now, because I'm very, very lazy, I'm actually going to use the AI to create more stuff for me, like demo data, for example. So let me show you. Please generate a list of 5 different vendor categories. Okay, and we need to remove cement and steel. Make it a short 5 items list. That's about it. Now I'm going to populate it on my Airtable. Okay, and basically here I could just pick the category of the vendor. Another thing I am going to do right now is to ask for demo content. And now I have demo content of vendors. That's great. Let's right now go to demo content of products. So now I created this database with different products and images of the products. That was really important for the client in this specific case. You could group it right now based on vendors. I think that would be a good choice. So I'll group it by vendors. And there you have it. I have here some kind of a view where I can see like what vendor provide what products. And I don't mind even that I have repeatable products like, for example, safety helmet kit, right? Because at the end of the day, I want the user to be able to see the prices and then to choose from their favorite vendor. Let's just change it and say group by vendor. Right, so there's some work here to structure the database, creating products. Obviously, populating it with thousands of products will take some time. This took me around like 10 minutes. And there you have it. I have here my database in place with users, vendors, products. The orders are going to be populated later on, and I am also going to change this data also later on. The next thing I'd like to do is to actually create the orders table. So let's do that real quick. Also, going back to Claude, checking the structure of this data and populating it using the data that I have in Claude. And that's more or less what I have in the orders. So what I can create here, I have the user, which is connected to my database of users, the products, which is connected to the database of products. And obviously, I could create also a lookup field that will just pull the name of the vendors. That's not an issue. More info from the user and the date of order. In order to create some kind of a database that populates itself, what I need to do is to actually create a form field. So let's do that real quick and create a new. So I'm creating a form view and create an order. Brilliant. And I don't need the name. I would let the user to just pick their name. This is me for now. Products. Okay, so they can pick their products and more info. Call me first, and then date and time and submit. Perfect. So right now we have this form view that could be accessed through the dashboard. So the user could just go to his name, pick the product, info, call me, date, submit. And if we go to the grid view, we'll see that the order was actually created. That's great. That's great. Something that I didn't like is that I couldn't see the images. So let's see if I could do something like that. And let's make it acquired. Brilliant. So now we could see the images. That's great. Okay, in order to create this beautiful form, I had to actually create the new form view of Airtable. So it actually asked me to create it as a form view, so I did it. I could edit the whole thing. So now where people could basically go to this form and pick their products. I will pre-populate this so it will automatically take the data of the user. That's more or less about it. So we have our form. This is great. We're doing good. We have our form. The next thing we want to do is to build a marketplace. So let's go to Softr real quick. Going to Softr, creating a new application. Let's start this one from scratch. Connect it to Airtable. Press continue. It asks me what base. I already integrated with my Airtable base. Let's add the base, which is this one. Grant access. There you have it. It asks me what tables I want to do and should I have like a page for each table. Let's just go with it and say, why not? Let's have my users, vendors, product, order, pages. We could edit it later. Okay, so here I don't care much about vendors. All I need to do is to connect my user base right now to the user base of Airtable. So I sync with data source and it asks me what's the data source again. I pick this one, this base, and what table holds my users. So I'm going to my users table. Now I need to map the field, and I need to make sure that the email is this one, the name is this one. I don't have an avatar. Good. And it actually found my user. Going back to pages to actually build my user base. And now basically when I have this app in the first place, what I wanted to do is to make sure that someone could actually add an order. How do I do that? So first of all, I need to go to the orders page, and when someone add a record, I needed to open my orders form, right? So go to form builder and share form, and this is my URL, so I need to make sure it will open this form. Now the only issue I have is that I need to make sure it's connected to my user in the first place. So there is a way to do it. I'm going back here, and great, and I'm going to users, and what I know is that every user could have a dedicated form that will belong to them. Let me show you what I mean. So extensions, and we need to build here a pre-filled form. So pre-filled, perfect. And the pre-filled form is going to sit in my user base and going to be connected to my order base. Let's check it out. So pick a table. This form is based on orders, and form type is interface form. Paste the share link of the form. This is the one. Pick the table that contains the formula. That will be my users. Great. By field name. Next. And what I need to pre-fill is only the name. Next. Copy. Perfect. And I need to create here a formula pre-filled form. Let's call it orders submit. And the formula should be this one. I just copy and paste it, create field. And now if I press this one, it would necessarily be a form that is connected to the user Yuval. If I add another user named Mike, so this URL connects to my user. Hold on, I need to edit it again. Sorry about that. So again, pick a table. Form is based on orders. We'll go for an interface form, which is right here. And I pick the table that ordered, that will be the user table, and identify by field name. And we're going to do the name. Looking for the user, that will be the name of the user. Next, copy formula. So I'll put it under users. It's right here. Save. Now when I press it, it picks the name of the user. That's what I was trying to create. So if I have a user named Mika, it should show me that specific user. The reason it didn't work is because of cache issues. So if I'm opening it real quick, so this is done, and if I open Micah, so this is the user named Micah. Perfect. So each user have their own form view. I can connect this one, these orders, I can actually connect this table to my users, and then make sure that only the logged in users are actually could see themselves. Let me pick it real quick. So let's add a condition that if email is logged in user, email show items that match all of the following condition. If email is this email, so it's going to show me only the users that are logged in. Let's publish it real quick and see how it's going to work. Okay, so when I go to my orders tab and I see Yuval, I could just see only Yuval here. All the rest of the stuff is not that useful for me, so I'm going to remove it for now. So let's just go back to pages, my home page, and maybe we could make our orders our home page. And when someone press add record, so if Yuval is logged in and you can see Yuval, I want it to go into the very specific URL, which is the form view of creating a new order. So let's check it real quick. So actions, add a record, and let's make sure that the action is to open an external URL, and the custom value should be pulled from Airtable. And now I could just change the actions, and the actions that I want to create, first of all, I will kill this action, okay, and I'll remove the search, don't need that, and I will create an action that would help me to do an order. So let's call it, instead of edit, let's call it add order, and the action that will happen here would be to open a URL, and that would be in here. Let's go back to the database, users, and it's called an order submit. So I wanted to open the order submit in a new tab. Let's publish updates, let's refresh it, and now I have here my dashboards where I see your file, open, and I have here an area where I could place my orders. Okay, I'm adding my order, I submit it, perfect. If I go back to the dashboard, under orders, I want to have one place where I could see all of my orders in place, right? So that's the next thing. The next thing is to build some kind of a place to track my order. So basically what we have here, I kind of cleaned the whole thing up, and when I open I'm the logged in user, Yuval. What I can do is to see the company, all of the placed orders in place. In order to do it, I just created a filter, a condition, place a new order, opens a new URL that is connected to my user here, and the one that will order submit. Down here, we have also the data that is connected to. Every time I add an order, I just add it here, and a condition which is only the one that's related to my user. Let's do, for example, so I want to place a new order, I press it, and then I pick alert emergency, this thing, date, Friday, let's do it, morning, 5, and let's press submit. Once I press submit, I should be able to see it here in under my dashboard, and there you have it, the date ordered, the vendor ordered, and the vendors, okay? We could add more features in the future. What I want to do right now, I want to create different things. For example, I want to notify the person that is in charge to buy this product in my company. So I want to notify them. So now we're going to use make.com in order to do different types of automations connected to this dashboard. So let's dive right in and I'll show you how to do it. What we're going to do, to every user, we need to have, let's call this one invoice, perfect. We want to have an invoice email that once this order was placed, we notify by email about the order. Simple as that, right? This scenario should start with a webhook. I had an old video about an Airtable webhook, so I will link it right in. And let's just press webhook. Now I get a webhook. I need to go back. Whenever record is created in orders table, I want to send a webhook with all of the data. When a record is created, orders, choose a record, just to test it. I want to choose a record, perfect. Now I want to run a script. This is the script, going back to the webhook, and what I need to do here is to copy the address, and that's how you connect a webhook. We press the record ID, value should be also Airtable record ID. Let's test it real quick. Let's choose a webhook. Okay, run this module only. Now we're going to test it. Let's press test. We need to see it here. If we see it here, we know that the data is going to fulfill. Perfect. And what we have here is data. We need to make sure that it knows how to read the data. So we need to press get a record and connect it to the relevant Airtable. Perfect. Construction marketplace. Table. This is the table of orders, is this one. Let's take this number real quick and run this module only. And there you have it, I have the order ID. What we need to do right now is also to get the other records of the users and of the vendors and so on. So we need to have more getter records. Let's also rename those because we like naming conventions. So get order record, this is it. Let's have a few more. So get a record, duplicate it, go to the table of users, and I will grab the user ID and I will duplicate it one more time. So I will rename it first. So the record, perfect. Let's duplicate it, clone. Now let's get the vendors data. Get product record, perfect. Now what we can do is to get the vendors record. So what I'm doing basically right now is just getting all of the data here. So what I can do is to put it in a PDF format and then place an order and send it via email or directly send it as an email. I'll think about it. PDF would be the best way to go. Email would be the fastest way to go. So let's clone it and let's get vendors data. Perfect. Now let's just test it one more time just for fun. Let's try to place one more order just to test it. So Yuval, I'm picking up this product and I pick up a date. I press submit. Now I go back here. Of course, I should be in dashboard. So there you have it. This is in dashboard. And if I'm going here, I see all of the data. So I have the record ID and then I have all the vendors. So I get here the user, I unpack it and the data of the product and then the data of the vendor. Perfect. So now what we can do, we could place the order. Just use Gmail to send an email with the order. So the subject would be new order was placed by, and let's see who's the person, by Yuval. The recipient would be, so it would be the invoice email. So new order was placed by the name, then the content would be like, and I need it in an HTTP format because that's how it received the information. Or just tell it, I need you to write an email in HTTP, in HTML format. New order was placed and the name of vendors and items and place orders. Create a table for me. Great, so basically what we can do here, we can do something even a bit nicer. We can maybe create a table, the total cost of the order and so on. So let's just add here Claude. So I'm adding Claude here, an LLM, and I press create a prompt, maximum tokens 3000, add message or new content, tabs. Okay, the data of the items. Let's go to the get a product record. Let's do it. Name, notes, category, cost, perfect, and number of items. Okay, let's then do name of vendor. Please create an email with a recap of the order. Make it HTML format. Okay, that's what we have for now. Press OK, and then all I need to do here when I create the email is just to put here the output of Claude. Let's do it real quick. New order var. The recipient is email of my company. The content would be here. The content of my AI. Great. So now we could actually test this thing. And let's see if we're going to receive a notification for a new order. This is the dashboard. I place a new order. I make sure that, first of all, just run it once to make sure that it's working. And add the product. Let's add view, pick a date, submit. Now I should be able to see it in the dashboard, but in addition to that, let's say if the automation of make is going to work and it's got the data, it's got information of the data. Now the AI is creating the email, sends the email with the recap. So it should be here. Oh, I see it actually. So total order value, quantity, site solution. Oh, this is beautiful. All fit in one place. I need just to remove this, how to connect a few different items together, but it looks pretty great, to be honest, if you ask me. So let me just change it real quick, HTML only, and I will also say to it something like, I will grab the date. Also mention the table with this variable. Sorry about the mess. So now we basically have a working system where we have this dashboard, where I could place a new order, where it's automation. Now it's working, that's my backend. I place a new order, add this order to the list. Let's do here, this product. The date, this is the time I submit it. I go back to the dashboard, refresh, I'll see safety vest pack. Okay, brilliant. So this is my order. And if I go back here, I see that we have here a new order, total cost, the order date, and so on. I still need to figure out how to compound a few products together. It's not a huge issue. Let's try to figure it out together before we finish. So the idea here would to unpack more and more records. That's about it. It's just like a bit of semantics, I believe, not more than that. If you really want me to figure out that issue, drop me a line in the comments. We could figure it out together. That's how you build yourself this really interesting solution that connects the front end of software, the database of Airtable, make to glue everything together to create yourself a marketplace. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Join our free community where we build no-code SaaS products together. We figure this kind of stuff together. Listen, I invested only like 45 minutes to build this thing. It took me only 45 minutes. I'm sure that if I would invest the rest of the day to figure out all of the small things, I'm going to have a product by the end of the day, and that's the beautiful part of no-code SaaS applications, no-code marketplace, and so on. Opportunities are crazy. Stay tuned, follow along, and let's grab these opportunities together. I'll show my clients what I've just built. Let's see if they're going to be interested in moving forward and actually build this product with me. That's about it. See you next time.